Good morning, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll get started in just one moment. Okay, looks like we're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So LinkedIn friends, I always tend to have quite a few agents that dial in. So we are going to give you an overview today. Please, if you are in a different marketplace, I tend to have people that find me from all over the country. So if you need some help or coaching in your marketplace with regards to these types of programs and the different housing commissions in your area, please feel free to reach out, use me as a resource. Happy to explain the process, at least in our neck of the woods, although it can vary from commission to commission. So, but just the same, like to be a valuable resource that way. And also always looking for ways to share my website in other geographic areas too. So right now we are hyper-focused in southeastern Michigan. Detroit is city I grew up in, so near and dear to me. And we are blessed today to have Terrance Watson from the Detroit Housing Commission to enlighten us with regards to the HCV program, the Housing Choice Voucher Program, where you can actually purchase a home using a voucher. And that piggybacked with some of the down payment assistance programs and grants I help connect people with. We're having success stories of getting people into homes with very little money out of pocket in our marketplace. And I'm seeing similar stories can happen across the country. So just in the interest of time, because I'm always appreciate everybody's time, especially on a Saturday summer morning and beautiful here in southeastern Michigan. So for a change, so I'm going to just ask Terrance to jump right into it and give us an overview of what the Detroit Housing Commission does and how people can participate if they are currently with the Housing Commission. So Terrance, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, John, for that very warm introduction and for having me here today. I definitely want to shout you out and your entire team at Own the Roof for creating this space. I do believe it's incredibly vital that we have these conversations, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be joining all of you here today. For those of you out there, my name is Terrance Watson. I serve as the project manager for the Family Self-Sufficiency and Home Ownership Programs at the Detroit Housing Commission. And when John asked me to kick things off here today and talk about DHC's mindset and our explicit goals and our programs, I absolutely wanted to jump at the opportunity, because what we're talking about today, using housing choice vouchers to transform from renting to owning, is absolutely one of the most powerful transformative tools we have in affordable housing here today. And to really understand why we're pushing for home ownership, you really have to understand the fundamental mindset of the Detroit Housing Commission's leadership, right? As the largest public housing agency in Michigan, we just don't view ourselves as managing that we see ourselves as catalysts for change, right? Our mission, of course, is to effectively and efficiently develop, manage, and preserve quality, affordable housing. However, we don't want to stop at preservation, right? Our vision as an agency is built on strong pillars of developing and maintaining community partnerships, just like the one we're sharing with On the Roof today. And every single day, our team, we ask ourselves, how are we serving the community? How are we building stability that lasts for generations, right? And that is exactly where our mindset shifts from, housing people to empowering them, right? And affordable rental housing is a critical foundation, right? Provides safety, stability, but the ultimate goal of our resident service department is to leverage that stability into long-term self-sufficiency, right? So to bring us directly to the heart of why it is that we're here on this webinar today, the HCV Homeownership Program, right? But if you don't remember anything else today from what I say in my opening remarks, I want you to remember this one phrase, to know well. The foundational purpose of this program is truly create a pathway to self-sufficiency and build accessible pathways of home ownership. For a very long time, there's been a lot of misnomers, a lot of conception about housing choice vouchers or what the program even was, right? And that it is just strictly virtual assistance. By the end of this webinar, I hope that you seek to look at the voucher much differently. I hope you'll look at it as a launch pad. The HCV Ownership Program truly allows eligible participants to use their vouchers to be not just a paid landlord, but to pay your own mortgage. Just think about that for 1 second. Think about the shift in dynamic that happens there. Instead of you building someone else's equity, you can start building equity for your own family, right? And instead of facing the unpredictability of the rental market, you can secure an asset at a fixed rate, right? Instead of just getting by month to month, you really can put down permanent roots in your community, right? And I'm sure John can attest to this, that when a family transitions to home ownership, the entire trajectory of that family changes, right? Your children grow up with a different sense of stability, and wealth that is created is eventually wealth that can be passed down to the next generation. And really and truly, that's how you break the cycles of generational poverty, right? And that's why we call our program the Generational Wealth Home Ownership Program, right? And we have some goals that we seek to do in our program here at Detroit Housing Commission, first of which is to expand awareness, right? Many voucher holders simply don't know that this option even exists, right? We definitely want to change that, which is why webinars like this are so critical, right? Moments where we can sit down and expand our knowledge as to, the opportunities that are available is critical to individuals moving. How is the that education, right? Home ownership is daunting, right? As me and my wife are experiencing now, we're actually in the market, right? But DHC, we are both committed to provide the financial literacy, the credit coaching, the home buyer education, so that our participants just aren't buying homes. We are definitely interested in you keeping them, right? Third goal, we're prepared to do the whole process, right? We want to make transition into home ownership as smooth and accessible as possible, right? Which is why we're aligning our agency resources with great community partners, lenders, and real estate professionals like John and the like, right? We definitely are rooted in our mission to build strong, self-sufficient neighbors, one house and one family at a time. So I'm very proud of the participants in our program and our team members and our agency. I'm absolutely excited to dive into the mechanics of how all of this works, right? So I'll be sticking around for this session, for the Q&A. And if you have any questions, any specific items about eligibility, how the voucher mortgage subsidy works, how to take the first steps, most definitely prepare your questions, and I'll be glad to help you out. And thank you again, John, for the platform. Thank you for all that you're doing. You're doing a great work in our community and at large. And thank you to everyone who joined us today. So, John, if you will, let's get the conversation going.
Nice. Terrance, thank you so much. You are inspirational. It's like whenever I have any seeds of doubt, I need to replay you in the morning just to get me fired up, because it's just,
you're too kind.
no, not at all. Not at all. So you are a blessing to the Housing Commission. So Terrance actually walks the walk. So if when he says you can reach out to him, yes, he's an accessible guy. So don't think that if you have any questions, he's not gonna, he will respond. More often than not, please feel free to reach out to me too. I'm always happy to help in any possible way. So there's nothing about what we do that's about perfection. Okay. Everyone's got a bumpy path. And that being the case, it's just, we're going to put you on that path to home ownership. Now, to have the Housing Commission being able to transfer your rental voucher over to a mortgage voucher where they're actually going to make your mortgage payment, coupled along with a lot of people in Southeastern Michigan, especially Detroit area, know about the $25,000 that's still available. I mean, there is more money in the streets right now to buy more home than ever before. So, and let me say that again, there is 25,000 through the city of Detroit. There's actually 75,000 with the Tobias Harris program that still sits out there. I'm amazed that that program is still funded. So we are having people get into good quality homes. And I stress the word quality because unfortunately, there are a lot of homes out there, a lot of people that are putting lipstick on homes, for lack of better words. So my job is to vet through that. Okay. And don't get me wrong, there are a couple of inspections involved in this process, and the Housing Commission helps you vet it too. So we want to make sure you're going into something that's going to be very predictable down the road for you. But with that being said, I just want to dive right into it, and we're going to give you a glimpse. I'm going to run through this fairly quickly this morning, just in the interest of time. This is the first time we've done this, so I've only been through these slides once, so bear with me. So the whole theme of our process is, yes, you can buy your first home. Now, when we say first home, it just has to be that you haven't owned a home within the past 3 years. Most people think that you need 20% down to purchase a home. Nothing could be further from the truth. Okay. Some people think you need to have great credit scores. Again, doesn't need to be that way. I'm not sure where the Housing Commission sits right now, but if your credit scores are 600 or higher, a lot of times that's in the strike zone for us. So I believe the Housing Commission might be in alignment with that right now. So if your credit scores are below that, there are options, but it becomes, I don't know that the Housing Commission is going to back you with regards to those payments. And please schedule a call with me. I'm always happy to have those elevated conversations with you. In fact, I'm going to put a link right now to my calendar, and let me get that out there for our Facebook friends too. So please schedule a call with me. Always happy to learn your situation and put myself in your shoes. I always tell people, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, it doesn't matter to me. We need to put you on a path today. And again, it is not about perfection. So first thing I want to start off with is probably for me, it's one of the most successful stories of my career. And I've been doing this 38 years now. And it's Emily Cook. So I met Emily probably about 1.5 years ago. And at that time, she called me and she had told me she'd been through the DHC home purchase program. And, back then I was, people that don't know me, I'm pretty upfront about things. I'm like, you know what, Emily, I am aware of the program. I just haven't had anybody that was successful getting through it. But then again, I've never met anybody like Emily before. So she actually got through the program. I always say she kicked the door open. She was not going to be denied. So whatever I asked her to do, she was just a solid professional person. She would just go down to the Housing Commission. She just asked the right questions. So, and that was it. I think sometimes people are just afraid to ask the questions. So to have the access that you have right now through Terrance at the Housing Commission, I'm telling you, the door is wide open. Okay. All you have to do is ask. But When I met Emily, she actually went down to the Housing Commission and she was insistent on getting the letter that she needed to get to a lender to get pre-approved. And she went through all the steps, nothing about perfection. In fact, and she doesn't mind me sharing her story. Every now and then she comes on my webinars. I don't know that she knows that I'm doing the HCV webinars yet, but she comes on my second webinars, and I'll tell you about those in a minute. It's a follow-up webinar where I teach people how to tap into the grants and down payment assistance and things like that. And I'll get you a link to that in a few moments. But with regards to Emily's story, she had been with the same landlord for many years, and the landlord wanted to sell the house to her. In fact, I think he was kind of twisting her arm a little bit to buy it, and it was a less than quality home. So thank goodness we were able to get her pre-approved, and she actually qualified for $33,000. She qualified for the city of Detroit, $25,000, a 3% down payment program through Flagstar Bank, and then a $5,000 closing cost grant and a $500 appraisal grant. So she ran the table for $33,000. She bought a home. I'll never forget the price. It was $117,000. So her mortgage ended up being about $80,000. Her payments were in the 700s, well below where her voucher is. It's a three-bedroom ranch on Freeland, and the inside of the house was just in incredible shape. So an absolute gift. Oh, and by the way, Emily's on a fixed income. So sometimes people feel if they're on a fixed income or Social Security that this can't be done. I'm telling you, it can. For me, it's all about patience and persistence, and that right house will surface. So anyways, nothing about perfection with Emily, although she is a perfect person. She happily opened the door for what has been many people that we've been able to help connect with home ownership through the Detroit Housing Commission. So with that being said, let's get into it. So today we're going to talk about the voucher path, and we're going to talk about the assistance and grants that are out there for everyone. So if you have the opportunity to purchase in the near future, so if you're already on the approved list, or I should say already been through the course and been approved through the Housing Commission, there's a lot of money out there now. And the people that haven't been through that class, boy, just reach out. I'm sure Terrance can connect you with the process. You have to go through some classes in order to get that eligibility. It's all about education, okay? And that's really where I come from. And you'll see that with my website. I'll show you that in a few moments. I am all about teaching people how to get into homes with very little money out of pocket. So with that being said, let's move right forward here. So the DHC Voucher Home Ownership Program, the eligibility, I don't want to get into too many details with it. They'll go over it with the program, but you do need to have some income coming in, okay? Common sense. I'm sure you're putting food on the table somehow, whether it's through Social Security or fixed income. Many of the programs have a $15,000 a year minimum requirement, okay? Now, some people may think they miss out on that, but let's look at it this way. Suppose you have $1,000 a month coming in from Social Security. In the lending world, they're able to gross that up. So they'll give you credit for $1,250 a month times 12 months, coincidentally comes up to that 15,000 mark. Okay. So don't think you're missing out because you're not at that 15,000 mark. Again, it's all about coaching. The other thing is you do need to have at least 1 year of minimum employment, okay, or proof of the income. So if you're on Social Security and you've had it for a year, you're good. Or if you've been on a job for a year or more, you're good. Some of the lenders, the underlining financing, they want to see a couple year history. Okay, so that could change on a case-by-case basis. Now, with regards to the financial responsibility, all you need to purchase a house is 1%. And when I say 1%, that's of the purchase price. So if you're purchasing a home for $200,000 or $150,000, that's $2,000 on a 200, $1,500 if you're buying a $150,000 house. So it's not a whole lot of money. So we can actually get the down payment taken care of, and the closing costs with a lot of the down payment assistance programs and grants that I connect people with. So when I just told you about Emily, I think she got in for actually a little over, it was a $1,100 I think she was able to get into that house on Freeland. Okay. And I do those routinely. Okay. So I don't want you to think that that's a one-off thing. Like I said, even the Detroit 25,000 down payment assistance program will cover all of your closing costs with the exception of $1,000. So in some cases, you don't even need 1%, but I like to be a little bit conservative. And the big thing is we need to qualify for an underlying mortgage. Okay, so the process is typically you'll go through the educational process with the Housing Commission, and they'll put you on a path. Once you go through that class and you clear the hurdles from a income and credit standpoint, then they'll connect you with a lender or myself, and we'll try to take you the rest of the way and put you in the position where you're putting houses on your radar that are going to fit your budget, and more importantly, your vouchers budget, because they want to make sure that it's not about just putting you into a house. We want to put you into a house for success. We want to make sure that the utilities are taken into account, okay? That you're not biting off more than you can chew, that your taxes aren't going to go out of control on you as well, too. And that is a conversation right now. Taxes, unfortunately, are changing on properties, and there are some paths for people on fixed income that we've been able to help, where we can get in front of the proper people at the city and the nonprofit organizations and advocates to make sure that your taxes are going to stay in an area that's not going to disrupt your budget any more than necessary. Okay, so underlying mortgage, that's the big thing once we get past through the steps, but we're not going to connect you with a lender unless we feel your chance or likelihood of approval is greater than 90%. Okay, there's always little things that we may get tripped up on, and it may trip us up for the short term. Okay, like I said earlier, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, it doesn't matter. Okay, we're here for the long haul. So the big thing is we want to create some stability, like Terrance said. It's all about getting you into the home for that next generation. And we need to keep that, I need to keep that clearly in mind. Everyone does. Okay, one of the most powerful stories I had was about 6 months ago when I actually had a lady say, hey, you know what, John, I know I can do this, but it's not about me. It's about showing my kids that my hard work can be fruitful. And that was a pretty powerful statement for me. I still get chills thinking about that conversation. So anyways, some of the things you're going to run through in addition is the money and the discipline as far as having part of your budget. In addition to the house payment, we want to make sure that you are on a good maintenance schedule and your utilities are not crazy too. So even though you might be able to find a good house at a reasonable price, if it's too large, we want to watch those utility bills. There's nothing cheap about heating a house during the winter months right now. So we need to keep those things clearly in mind. And that's why we focus on the money and the discipline. Next thing, the down payment assistance and grants. Okay. So there are over 3,000 down payment assistance programs and grants that are available across the country right now. Specifically in the Detroit metropolitan area, most of the homes I can pick out, I can find a good 10 programs that somebody could qualify for. Now, you won't qualify for all the programs, but we can, chances are, qualify for at least one, and sometimes we can stack 2 or 3. Now, Emily actually qualified for 4 or 5. And I have to say, she was rather fortunate. That was last year's Detroit DP $25,000 DPA program. They're kind of cutting back how much we can stack on it a little bit. So I don't want to overpromise that way. But right now I do have one bank that I'm working with. First Merchants Bank is stepping up to the table quite well. They're actually doing the DPA program, and they're putting a $5,000 grant on top of that. So And then there's different funds also that we can possibly add to it. So there are lenders that are surfacing right now that are aggressively wanting to play in our sandbox. So please reach out to me. I'm always happy to make those introductions for you. So in addition to the 2,500 programs, there's a lot of zero down programs, like I said, and low credit options do exist for people. So if your credit scores aren't in that strike zone, let me know. I also do a credit repair webinars. I do those once, sometimes twice a month. You can pick those up on my website, Own the Roof. I always get people that ask for this because right now, unfortunately, I'm finding that credit is deteriorating. There's nothing inexpensive about life right now, especially going to the grocery store. But here is a link to register for my credit repair webinar if you do need help on that side. Most people, I apologize, I didn't really tell you about myself. I have spent over 25 years in the mortgage world before I got back into real estate about 12 years ago. So when it comes to tapping into these programs, I'm well aware of it. I know how to structure these deals, and I'm actually fairly proficient with helping people fix their credit. Okay. And I actually had to go through that from my own personal meltdown from businesses about 12, 15 years ago. So I'll save that story for another day. I share that on my main webinar, but it was actually a blessing. It was life altering. It's put me down this, I call it a rabbit hole, where now I just lead with this giving mindset, and he tends to give in a very favorable way for me. So it's all about helping others, of course. So let me add this link to my Facebook. There we go. There's the link to the credit repair webinar if people need it. All right. And then we're also going to give you access to Zero Down Scout. This is an application my team built, and it actually will tell you, you can put any address in the United States, and it will tell you what programs you can qualify for. Okay. So it also will tell you whether it's a first-time home buyer program, what the income limits, things like that. And you can do it on local, state, even regional level. Okay. So here are the main steps going forward. Number one, we want to get you educated. Okay. Whether it's, going to my next webinar, or if you have a voucher right now, I would suggest getting in touch with your caseworker and asking them, hey, where do I sign up for the home ownership program or keys to ownership? Different commissions call it a little bit different things. So, but I think keys to ownership is a path that I'm beginning to learn. So they will put you in touch. Doesn't mean that if you go through the course, doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get in. There are some hurdles along the way, but don't worry, I'm here to help you with any of those hurdles when it comes to ironing out your income levels or your credit side of it. So first thing, get educated, attend your home buyer workshop, and complete the HUD certification. Okay. Next thing we want to do after that is we want to check your credit, see where it is, make sure that you're going to clear the hurdles with the lenders. There's no reason reaching out to a lender, having them inquire into your credit if the likelihood isn't there. So please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to put my old lender hat on and tell you where you are. And if you're not there, what you need to do to get there. And I can usually give you a pretty good predictable timeline of how long it'll take too. From there, we want to identify what programs are out there, and that's through Zero Down Scout. We're going to give you a link to that in just a second. And then from there, you'd get pre-approved for your loan. And after that, we start looking at houses. So it seems like a lot of steps, but it really isn't. So we're here to hold your hand every step of the way. So like I said, first step, education. Attend that home buyer workshop. After that, we want to check and build your credit if needed to strengthen those scores up. Next, here is down payment. Here is Zero Down Scout. This is the tool that a lot of people really enjoy. So what it is, you go out to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, just type in Zero Down Scout, and you can download the application. And you can it'll ask you some questions, and then you just type in an address, and it will spit out the down payment assistance in your area. I think I just did one. It's already set up for me, but I did one for Los Angeles, my last webinar. That's still logged in here. So you can see $90,000 in LA, 100,000 in LA, 85, 161,000. These programs are across the country. So LA is 161. Miami has one for 200. New York goes up to 260. These are tremendous amounts of money. And don't get me wrong, in those marketplaces, you almost have to have it because unfortunately $1 million doesn't go very far. I still have a hard time wrapping my head around that, but that's what they have to do to combat the level to get people in. So there's a significant amount of money. In a lot of these programs, all you have to do is live there for 3-5 years and you get to keep all the money. So that's the crazy part about it. But while we're here, why don't I just jump in? I'll give you, I have an address that I use for where I grew up. And let's see if it's still programmed in here. Detroit. Certainly wouldn't cost that much. See my programs. Oh, here it is. Let's get that address. 16801. No, not in here, but I'll type it in. Lamphere. There we go. So Lamphere, I grew up at Finkel and Lasser. Anybody familiar with Brightmoor? That's where that is. So right now it's showing Detroit DPA program, $25,000. Home Boost is $25,000. Mishta Shared Appreciation. Didn't even know that one was in play. Okay. Wayne County. Unfortunately, I think Wayne County is out of money for that one. Mishta's always out there for $10,000, but you can see there are lots of programs out here for us to tap into. Chances are there's one that will fit your situation. And if not, we'll give you the coaching to get there too. So please download Zero Down Scout. That's the name of it. Just go into the Apple Store or Google Play Store and you'll get it. So you can also pick it up on my website, which actually I'll show you that right now. This is my website. It's called Own the Roof. This is 100% dedicated to education. Everything on here is free. If you ever want anything on here, please let me know. Okay. So for example, we have resources. I have publications. My son and I wrote a book on this. No down payment, no problem. You don't have to go out and buy it on Amazon. My intentions were not to make money on this. Just email me or text me. Heck, let me give you my phone number right now. 248-252-7283. If you want a copy of it, just shoot me a text with your email address and my team and I will email it out to you. We just put it up on Amazon just to add credibility. And actually, I was told to do that to get some backlinks to our website too. So don't think you have to pay for anything on here. In addition, if we go back under the resources tab, Zero Down Scout is on here where you can download it on the Apple Store, Google Play. We also have, we just put a website up for the HCV Home Ownership Program. We really feel like that is our calling. And that's where we feel these tools really are going to thrive and connect with. So we're very, very excited to work with Terrance Watson and the Housing Commission just to give people the different pathways to learn. So I don't know how you are. I mean, I'm not a big reader, so writing a book took me a long time to do it. But I am an Audible person. I like listening to books in the car. So we do our webinars where if you want to go to our free webinars, you can do that. We also have courses. This is digital courses. If you want to sit and watch me go over everything in my book, there's a Zero Down guide. It's free. Just enter your email address and you'll get in. You want to learn how to fix your credit? We've got the repair guide there if you don't want to read my book that way. Or if you want to learn a higher level, because I always have agents asking me, how do we structure these deals to get people in with as little money out of pocket as possible? And that's where we kind of give people the behind the curtain glimpse of the different tools that are out there. not the obvious ones with the down payment assistance and the grants, the ones that are behind the curtains with the lenders. Most people don't realize it, but there are lender credits that can always be pulled into play to get deals across the finish line. There's always, I think, appraisal credits, grants, things like that. Not a ton of money in the big scheme of things, but 500 here, 1,000 there, it adds up quick, okay? And if the money is on the table, we are all about that. So we might as well pick it up. So this is Zero Down Scout. We also have access to, anytime you want to go to one of our webinars, we'll have it booked here. Just click on the Zero Down webinar and you can register, okay? So let's click right along here. So you know how to get to Zero Down Scout. This will tell you all of the programs that are out there. If that doesn't get you excited to do something, I don't know what will, because there is always money out there for us. I just feel like right now, I've never seen as much money in play as there is right now. So after we do all of those steps, we want to get you pre-approved with a lender. This is where I tell people, please reach out to me. I know all the programs and they hit my radar very quickly. So in my mind, I can structure the transactions to get the most amount of money possible. Think about it this way. If there are 20 programs available just in southeastern Michigan, the chance of lending or the chance of landing with a lender that's going to give you the most is pretty slim. Okay. But what I like to do is I like to learn your situation. Okay. Where's the income? Where's the credit? Where do you want to move to? And then I can put myself in your shoes and go, you know what? First Merchants Bank is the best fit for that area, because a lot of these programs change geographically. And it not only changes from city to city, it can actually change block to block. Some of these programs are driven by census tracts, which you can have two homes sitting right next to each other, and the amount of money that you can qualify is totally different. And based on your situation, whether it's a fixed income credit. So I am in tune. I can jump into your situation, learn it, and tell you what I would do if I were in your shoes. Then that's when I'm going to point you to the direction of the lender that's going to give you that high degree of likelihood to get you pre-approved. Okay. So from there, then we are off to the races. Now, I always tell people it's not crazy to start looking for homes up front. Okay. I don't want you to, I want you to get you excited and see how your money spends. That's the whole purpose of that. Okay. I find that an educated person with regards to how your money spends goes so much further. That way, when you see value, you won't think twice. You'll just jump. You'll have that level of confidence. Okay. Knowing that you've got the support team to make sure if you make any mistakes, we'll help you catch it. So the other thing is, there is a whole team. There's a couple of inspections on homes. Okay. Keep in mind, we're going to get a private inspection. Housing Commission demands it, and rightfully so. Okay. There are surprises with every home. And even though I've got some pretty seasoned eyeballs at looking at houses and picking things out, I can't see inside a sewer line, and it may be working today. And sometimes if we start getting into homes that are over 70 years old, more often than not, we just had one this week. House was wonderful. Actually, I didn't even tell Terrance yet. Person was all approved and ready to go. And then the sewer inspection came back. There was a crack in the line that led us to walk away from the house. And that's fine. Better to discover it today than get a $10,000 bill for a new line in 2 or 3 months from now. So that's the type of people I think you want to surround yourself with, especially because I'm a big fan of those older homes that are brick. My gosh, they stand the test of time, at least in southeastern Michigan. But they do come with older pipes too. So we want to make sure that that's the one thing that we don't have X-ray vision. Most of the home inspectors that we work with can kind of sniff those things out. And our job isn't to over-inspect homes, but just to make sure that we're setting you up for success. So once you get your pre-approval, with your lender, obviously, we're off to the races and we're out looking at homes. So some of the key financial documents that you're going to need to get where you need to be, we need to show where your income is. Okay. They'll need your pay stubs or proof of income. If you're on Social Security, your awards letter is fine. Something with a year-to-date number on it. Okay. Every now and then they want your tax returns. So they'll probably want your W-2s, maybe 2 years of tax returns. That's it. Okay. If you don't have tax returns because you're on a fixed income, that's fine too. I mean, a lot of times you don't even have to file taxes if your income is below a certain threshold. The other thing they look for are 2 months bank statements. Now, whether that's through a local bank or an online bank or some type of card that you use, that's fine. Okay. We want to show a balance in there that meets what they're looking for, whether it's that $1,000 out of pocket or that 1% that we talked about earlier. And they want to see them for 2 months because they want to see that average balance, they want to see the average balance is there. They don't like to see a lot of money moving around or shifting there. And they also want to take into account all of your debts. Okay. So if you are looking to position yourself for success, we want to try to get those card payments down if you have them. Car loans tend to be a big thing. So if you have to acquire, and I get it, if you don't have a car where I am, you're not getting around very well. The mass transit system isn't the best in southeastern Michigan. It's there, but it can be frustrating at times. So most people have to have a car in my neck of the woods. But keep in mind, car payments can affect your budget in a dramatic way. So if you have an upcoming purchase there, please reach out to us so we can kind of coach you a little bit with regards to that payment and maybe the best way to set you up for success over the long haul. In addition, student loans are another topic. Okay, there are ways to structure student loans with income-based repayment plans where we can get people into homes with very little money out of pocket using a very small income-based repayment plan. So I go over this stuff in detail in my next webinar, which is teaching people how to tap into these programs and grants. And then let's see. Personal history documents, obviously your driver's license. Sometimes they want your social security card. If you are not a U.S. citizen, we do need proof of your immigration status. Your landlord names and addresses for the last couple of years always helps. Sometimes we need, if you don't have credit, we can create credit for you with alternative trade lines using your landlord or using things that you pay on a monthly basis. And then if you have a divorce or bankruptcy or things like that, we will need to get that information so we can best coach you. Some of these programs have limitations, okay? Some don't. So if you were saddled with a bankruptcy, hey, you don't have to wait forever, just a couple of years after it's discharged, and you're usually in a good spot. If you happen to go through a bankruptcy in the past couple of years, please reach out to me. It is very easy for us to build credit, and I actually go over that in my credit repair webinar, okay? So sign up for that. And next one. Okay, your free next steps. First one. Download Zero Down Scout. I'm telling you, that will get you excited. That just shows you all the money that's out there. If you have any family or friends, please do me a favor. Share it with them. We're trying to get more traction on that application because I really do feel that there is a lot of value out there, and there's nothing like it on either one of the app stores. And join me for my next webinar, okay? I do a weekly Zero Down webinar. The credit repair webinar is usually once or twice a month. If you go out to my website, you will see Zero Down webinar. The next one I'm doing is actually July 22nd. We're taking next week off for a little extended vacation. And then in addition to that, let's just see, you can always hit me for the credit repair webinar. Looks like the next one we're doing there is on the 25th. Okay, so I typically do those on Saturdays. Now, I am going to commit to doing the HCV webinars. In the beginning, I'm going to start doing these twice a month. So if you want to go through this again, and love to have you, okay? On my other webinars that I do on Wednesdays, oddly enough, I have people that have been coming to my webinars for 2 or 3 years. I always take a poll, and I find that I always ask people, what is holding them back? And I feel like most people are held back just by hope. Okay. And I find that, unfortunately, there is a lot of false hope out there. Okay. That is not what I'm about. And it's all, for me, it's all about keeping it real. You're never going to hear the word no out of me. You're only going to hear just not, maybe not right now, but here's the path. Okay. Because I feel like we need to be about solutions more than no. Okay. Although I do respect no. Every now and then we have to use the no word, but for the most part, it's all about moving forward for me. So with that being said, I think we are just about ready to open up for some Q&A here. And please, by all means, take me up. You can book a call on me through the website. Very easy. Here's some of the contact information for the Housing Commission and myself. I'll leave that to Terrance. I think I may have caught where you put some links in here, Terrance. Thank you very much for sharing your information there. Here's a question right out of the gate. I have a housing choice voucher and also filed bankruptcy 2 years ago. So I do not attend credit repair first. So do I attend credit repair first? I know bankruptcy stays on your credit up to 10 years. Excellent question. And I will tell you, you are not alone, Shanika. I actually had to declare bankruptcy after my businesses failed about 15 years ago. Due to, it's unfortunate, I had an embezzlement. I talk about it with a business partner, or I should say bookkeeper, and I've been through all of it. Very, very humbling, painful process, but there's a lot of tools out there to build credit right afterwards. And the algorithms are very forgiving. After a bankruptcy, it's very easy for me to get your credit scores up above 700 in 12 months. Sounds crazy, but the tools are out there. I did it for myself 15 years ago, I think, when I had to do it. And it took me over a year to do it. And back then, everything had to be, it was all manual. There was no AI. There was no, it was either you paid thousands of dollars to have a company help you, or you do it yourself. And I just kind of bought a course and pieced in what I didn't know from the mortgage world and did it myself. And nowadays, it's 10 times easier to rebuild after bankruptcy. So if you need help on that side, please sign up for my credit repair webinar. If the bankruptcy was over 2 years ago and your credit scores are above a 600, you're probably in a much better position than you realize. Okay. A lot of people seem to think that after a bankruptcy, and you're absolutely right, it stays on for up to 10 years, but it doesn't define you. Okay. It's a blip on the radar, and most lenders know that. Okay. The key to that equation is we just need to have things clean after the bankruptcy. Every, little speed bumps here or there with a late payment or two isn't the end of the world, and little medical collections don't really bother it either. So reach out to me. Happy to learn your situation, put myself in your shoes, and tell you exactly what I would do. But first step, I will give you a link to my credit repair webinar here. Oops. And we'll get that out there for our YouTube, Facebook friends. Okay, any other questions out there? All right, Eunice. Great. Eunice, I have a DCH and I have attended the home buyers workshop and a one-on-one. What's my next steps? You know what, Eunice, I would say reach out to me, schedule a call. Here's my number, 248-252-7283. That's my cell phone number. I am a hawk on that. I have a few different numbers that people may see, but this is my cell phone. And every now and then I try to keep up on top of it. Sometimes it might get full. Feel free to text me. Oh my gosh, I'll call you in between calls. My calendar sometimes gets filled up. But let me put my number here in the Facebook area. Yes, happy to learn your situation. Eunice, put myself in your shoes. Just try to have your credit score handy and your income, and we can usually work out a pathway. Terrance, I see your hand there. Sorry.
Absolutely. I recognize Mrs. Green's or Eunice Green's information in our database. And what I like about platforms like this and individuals that come through just as readily as you were talking and you asked that question, I immediately brought you up in our database and just saw where you're at. So secondary to getting with John and him providing you with all of the information, your first step, or I should say your next step, is most definitely to reach out to me. As a matter of fact, if you want to put your email address in the chat, I will actually text you what your next steps are to ensure that you can send me all of the documentation that is required on this end, and just kind of give you an overall program summary of how it is that you can proceed. So I will most definitely follow up with you, Ms. Green, and we'll go from there. So we'll get that question asked for you hopefully today.
Thanks, Terrance. I'm actually just copying this, and I will text the email address to you. And there we go. Good. Just sent you that text, Terrance, as a little bit of a reminder. I know you're busy, new father going in several directions. So try, especially a Saturday. I'm sure you've got a lot. I appreciate you carving out the time today. Any other questions? All right. I see. Okay. So with regards to the credit, someone's asking about the credit repair webinars that I do. So with that webinar, we are going to go over what they look for in the mortgage world. Okay. From there, we're going to really touch on how do we get a quick spike in your credit scores. Okay. Every now and then life trips us up and little things pop up. We're going to give you the best practices. The webinar itself is actually titled 60 Points in 60 Days. There are tools out there that can get a quick spike in your credit score in 60 days. Whether it's paying down your credit utilization, opening up a secured line of credit, there's all different tools. And a lot of those tools are available right in our backyard through different credit unions. So I talk about how to connect with those. We also teach you how to look at your credit, analyze it, and discover your own, empower you to discover what areas in your credit report are ripe for a quick bounce. Okay. And then from there, we'll give you all of the tools. If you have no credit, we're going to teach you how to build credit from scratch. If you have no credit, that's actually not terrible. It's very easy for us to build that credit with alternative trade lines. So, and we go through that in the webinar as well. Okay. With regards to the Zero Down webinar, that's the one where we cover all the programs, how to tap into them, how we structure the transactions to get in with very little money out of pocket, and more importantly, how to set the expectations in certain geographic areas, because a lot of these programs, like I said, can change from city to city. Okay. All right. Any other questions out there? I see we got a fair amount of people on Facebook and a few on our Zoom too. So any questions before we wrap it up? The Facebook page, you can reach it through Own the Roof. Okay. Or let me put in my actual, go back here. Here is a link to my website, owntheroof.com. You will get all the, if you're looking for the tools, they're all there. If you actually want to go through, we have a YouTube channel called Own the Roof as well. We have all the replays from all of my webinars. I've been doing them probably 3 or more years now. And so they're all out there. They stay live. The live events, just look under events, go into live events, and I think you'll see them on the Own the Roof page. Facebook, I think, started deleting them once they hit 30 days. So that's their new policy. After 30 days, they start to delete some of those live events. So hope that answers your question there. You're welcome. Good. Any other questions before we wrap it up today? I always like to keep my webinars at 50 minutes. And reason being, I don't know how you are, but I don't have the attention span. After 50 minutes, I start timing out. So if you do have any questions, please never hesitate to reach out to me. Feel free. You can shoot me a text anytime. Always happy to chat with people. Great, Shanika. I will put in that credit repair link one more time. Good. So if you have any questions this weekend, please do not hesitate to text me. Probably a good way. This weekend, I'm running shorthanded. My showing teammate is actually out of town this weekend, so I am out in the field showing houses to people. And so love doing that. So kind of blessed, beautiful day to get out and get some boots on the ground and meet people in person. Oddly enough, I spend a lot of time, I'm a phone jockey. So I spend a lot of time on the phone trying to help as many people as possible. So that being the case, I don't always get in the field as much as I'd like to, although I like to make it sure I go to all the closings. So, oh, great. Thanks for sharing that, Terrance. The Generational Wealth Homeownership Intake Form. Awesome.
John, if I will real quick,
Sure.
Most often when individuals have initial interest, this is, in fact, is the first step that you're going to take, right? You're going to go to this link, you're going to fill out the intake form, and that is going to capture information that we'll utilize on the front end to really evaluate your eligibility and most definitely show you where to go from there. And as John so actively just kind of proactively pulled that up, as you can see, it's just a series of questions. Again, that a snapshot of your eligibility, and we'll go from there.
Wow, I like the way I call it John proof. This is pretty easy. So
yeah,
nice.
Well, again, that's part of our goal, John. We wanted to make sure the process of homeowners isn't going to be difficult enough and just
good. Thanks for sharing.
It has its we want to make it as easy as possible, right, and assist you in that. Oftentimes, John, they do the heavy lifting. We're ready to spot them in their efforts.
Great. Wow. Thank you so much, Terrance. And then let me get back to the next one. Someone was asking the next date for the credit repair is actually Saturday, July 25th at 9 a.m. Put that right in here. I will get back to you. Please lock that website in, Own the Roof. We will update our webinars. I'm not sure when I'm going to be doing the next HCV webinar, but it may not be till probably the 1st of August will be the next one. So appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you so much for attending. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Again, this is nothing about what we do. What I do is about perfection. It's all about just learning your situation, putting ourselves in your shoes, and giving you a path. So, like I said, lots of funds out there for us to work with. So no reason for us to not work together and pick them up. All right. Eunice, thank you so much for engaging today. Appreciate it. Thanks, Shanika, Kim, and Terrance. Terrance, can't thank you enough for all you do. It's such a blessing every time I get to talk to you. You fire me up each time, pal. So I guess we'll call it a day there. Anybody on my Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, please do not hesitate. Gail Washington, thanks for attending. there's always a familiar face or two that are coming in here. So, but then again, thank you all very much for attending. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate. I will be around this weekend. You got my number, the 248-252-7283, or just go to my website, book a call, and we'll connect. So, hey, hope our paths all cross again soon. Have a great weekend, everyone. Goodbye.